unexpected visitors grab you without being seen. Where chilling darkness is around every corner, this is Smithills Hall. Surprisingly, after 7 centuries, Smithills stays paralysed in northern Bolton since 1335. Tudor black and white beams outline the deteriorating walls, and a Victorian extension was also added later on. Some people have a brilliant fun experience, others have a frightful, terrifying time. 1857, the only time when the roof went up in hot Titanic flames. Originally, the Bartons, de Radcliffes and Ainsworths owned the classic huge manor. George Marsh. George Marsh, a Protestant vicar from the 1500s, the time of Bloody Mary. Mary's demand was that everybody had to become a Catholic like her. George refused. Smithills was later on used to hold his trial. His punishment wasn't pleasant. Burnt at stake. As he was being escorted down the wooden, creaky stairs, he wanted to make his mark. So that's what he did. Angrily, he stamped his foot into the cold, hard floor. Even now, his footprint remains. 14th of April 1555 was when he was burnt alive. Huge temperature drops, closing doors and swinging ropes are just a few of the paranormal activities going on in the George Marsh.
An ancient Grand Tudor building where families gather every day, all day for picnics, where paranormal activities take place around every corner. This is Smithills Hall. Astonishingly, this hall is over 700 years old, even though in 1857 the roof was destroyed by fire. There was an extension built in the Tudor times when the black and white timber was built in. Also, there was another extension when Queen Victoria was overthrown. Many strange things have happened in the chapel. Spookily, a lady in grey has been seen kneeling in front of the altar praying. Also, a lone figure has been seen sitting on the front pew, looking into the altar. Did you know that human bones have been found under the floor? Many people have complained about being touched by unseen hands. In addition to this, a woman who was taking out dead flowers has been pushed into a wall. She still has scars to prove it. Did you know that the stained glass windows in the chapel can relate to what period they were added in?
Tudor mansion, where paranormal activity happens everywhere, where terror-stricken visitors run away. This is Smithills Hall. Surprisingly, this 100-year-old house is riddled with souls, as old as itself. Even though it was built in 1333, the black and white timber from the Tudor ages and extensions were added in Victorian times. Speaking of Tudors, trials were held there in Tudor times. Astonishingly, it was owned by 3 families. These are the Bartons, the Radcliffes, and the Ainsworths. Originally, it was a manor, then an old people's home, and now it's a museum, and it dominates on the east entrance to Bolton. Alongside being a family home, this manor house was used for trials. There was a very popular man, George Marsh, who was tried there. George Marsh was a Protestant vicar who died on the 14th of April 1555. Awfully, he died because Mary I, Bloody Mary, wanted him to be Catholic. However, he refused, so he got burnt at the stake. After his trial, he stamped his foot on the floor and made an imprint. In the trial room, or green room, people said that they saw a tall, dark figure in it, like gliding across the floor. Also, doors had been slammed shut and ropes are strung in the room where he was tried.
Imagine a Tudor building which is 700 years old, a house which will make you petrified, a house where you dare not enter. This is the house of Smithills Hall. Smithills Hall, a house which was used for many things, such as an elderly home, a trial, also a house. Astonishingly, parts of the building were made in the Tudors and Victorians. Intriguingly, this house belonged to a family for 200 years old. For 200 years. Some people think they have seen ghosts, others think they are myths. Do you think ghosts are real? Mysteriously, people say that they have seen a lady kneeling at the altar in a 7th century dress. Some people think they can smell burning wood. Astonishingly, the chapel was made in the Saxons. In the chapel it has stained windows, it has wooden floor and pews. Also, people think they have seen a woman sitting in the front pew. In 1950, people found 16 bones. This was the chapel at the time.
A colossal Tudor mansion over 700 years old, where illusions are everywhere, where people dare not enter. This is Smithers Hall. Some people don't believe in ghosts. Others, after being in Smithers Hall, know ghosts exist. Astonishingly, the country mansion has been there since Saxon times. Some extensions have been added to the building, the black and white frame from the Tudors and also an extension from the Victorians. Families have actually lived in Smithers Hall, such as the D. Ratcliffes, the Bartons and also the Ainsworths. This colossal mansion dominates the northeast entrance of Bolton. This building was built in 1335. Originally, the mansion was a manor house. However, it has also been used as an old people's home, and now it is a museum. In 1857, the roof was destroyed by fire. Smithers Hall, an area of uninvited guests. Some people had trials held in the green room, others didn't have trials in there. In the green room, people feel ill at ease because they see a dark grey figure floating across the room. This was the illusion of George Marsh. He was a Protestant vicar and he had his trial in the green room. Mary I, also known as Bloody Mary, wanted everyone to turn Catholic, but George Marsh refused. Sadly, George Marsh was burnt at the stake on April 1455.